Minnesota Governor Tim Walz said Sunday the police arrested a suspected gunman accused of killing a Democratic state lawmaker and her husband while posing as a police officer.
After a two-day manhunt, 2 sleepless nights, law enforcement have apprehended Vance Bolter.
Top Democrat in the Minnesota House, Melissa Hortman, and her husband were shot dead at their Minnesota home the previous day in an attack Walz characterized as a politically motivated assassination.
A moment in this country where we watch violence erupt. This cannot be the norm. It cannot be the way that we deal with our political differences. Now's the time for us to recommit to the core values of this country.
Before the killings, authorities allege that Bolter also shot and wounded another Democratic lawmaker, State Senator John Hoffman, and his wife at their home a few miles away. Walz said Hoffman, hit by 9 bullets, was heading for recovery after emerging from his last surgery. Police said Bolter fled on foot when they confronted him at the Hortman home, leaving behind a vehicle that resembled a police SUV. According to a Hennepin County criminal complaint unsealed on Sunday, a police search of Bolter's SUV turned up 3 AK-47 assault rifles, a 9mm handgun, and a list of other public officials and their addresses. The complaint also showed that Bolter has been charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, as well as 2 counts of second-degree attempted murder. Online postings and public records reviewed by Reuters showed that Bolter has links to evangelical ministries and claimed to be a security expert with experience in the Gaza Strip and Africa. The killings are the latest episode of high-profile political violence in the U.S. Recent incidents include an attempted assassination on Donald Trump last year and an arson attack at Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's house in April.
The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home has been serving the needs of Titusville and surrounding communities since 1965. Mr. Garrett believed in tradition and commitment to excellence, standards that have been passed down from one generation to now a new generation, who will work to provide you with a beautiful, lasting tribute to your loved one. When you need them, they will be there for you. This has been their foundation for almost 60 years. The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home, 303 North Washington Street in Titusville.
Anyone with a kind and generous heart and a little money can be a philanthropist. You too can be a force for good in our community, and the Crawford Heritage Community Foundation is here to help you make the most of your charitable giving. We've partnered with hundreds of people like you to make our world and our community a better place. You can give through us to support scholarships or any charitable organization or purpose. Whether you're interested in establishing a permanent endowment or adding to an existing fund, we want to be a part of your plan. Contact us when you're ready to make your mark. Together, we can make your contribution go further.
If you're looking for a professional massage therapist, Tranquil Moments Massage in Titusville is here for you. Ray and Rauch graduated from Slippery Rock University with a bachelor's degree in exercise and rehabilitative sciences with an emphasis in athletic training. Tranquil Moments offers a wide range of services, from Swedish massage to deep tissue, sugar scrubs to hot towel inclusion therapy. Like them on Facebook and visit their website to learn more about all the services they offer. Tranquil Moments Massage in Titusville.
Thinking about switching to 5G home internet? Think again. Unlike Zoom from Armstrong, 5G home internet is delivered by a cell tower. The further away you are, or the more devices connected to that tower, the slower your internet is. Cell phone providers also play favorites. When their network gets busy, cell phones win, and your home internet pays the price. Stick with Armstrong to get more data, more speed, and internet whenever you need it, not whenever they want. Armstrong, keeping you connected.
J. Gill Plumbing and Heating takes pride in being the premier heating and air conditioning service provider in the area. With over 30 years of experience, our highly skilled and certified technicians will work closely with you to address your heating and air conditioning repair, installation, or maintenance needs. Our team is dedicated to making your home the ultimate place of comfort. Call today to get a free estimate. We also offer financing options and membership opportunities that provide peace of mind and cost savings. Call J. Gill Plumbing and Heating today or visit them online 24/7 at jgillplumbingheating.com.
Sheer Design is Titusville's exclusive Paul Mitchell-focused salon. This full-service salon specializes in coloring, cuts, nails, and tanning. Owner Angela Saxon has over 20 years' experience as a Paul Mitchell professional. She and her licensed staff offer all cuts and styles for men and women of all ages. Call 814-827-0010 or stop in at 116 South Kerr Street in Titusville.
Hi,
Hi, I'm Jasmine Levin, and I proudly own and operate Puppy Lovin'. Puppy Lovin' is a pet care salon dedicated to caring for your furry companions. We provide certified dog grooming services along with boarding and doggy daycare. Our facility is family owned and operated and promise personalized care for every pet that comes through our doors. If you're worried about your furry friend being lonely when you're gone, we also have on-site personnel 24/7 just for their comfort. Follow us on Facebook and call or text us at 814-758-9259 to make an appointment today.
Share the fun of train travel and relive our country's oil history as you ride the OC&T through the valley that changed the world. Learn about the past while traveling on vintage cars. See a variety of wildlife with stops at Drakewell Park, Petroleum Center, and Oil Creek State Park. Arrive early and see the vast collection of train and railroad memorabilia at Perry Street Station. After the ride, enjoy a night's stay at the Caboose Motel. For seasonal specials or for more information, visit octrr.org or call 814-676-1733.
Stocks fell across the board Friday after more clashes in the Middle East, with the Dow dropping about 1.8%, the S&P 500 more than 1%, and the Nasdaq declining 1.3%. Iran launched missiles at Israel in response to intensive Israeli strikes aimed at crippling Tehran's ability to build nuclear weapons. Airline stocks fell on fears that fuel costs could climb, while defense stocks such as Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman rose. Melissa Brown, managing director of investment decision research at SimCorp, says she thinks the effect of the conflict may be short-lived.
Over the long term, I've seen studies that show that that wars generally don't have a major impact on stock markets over, say a period of a few months to a few years, with some obvious exceptions. If we don't see a huge escalation, particularly outside of the borders where we're already seeing the conflict, I think that investors are going to go back to the idea that the Fed's going to lower rates, that we're not going to be in a recession, and even with somewhat higher oil prices, we managed quite well with higher oil prices for the past few years.
Other stocks on the move included Photoshop maker Adobe, which lost more than 5%. The company raised its annual revenue forecast, but that was overshadowed by concerns that the pace of its AI adoption was too slow. And shares of Oracle jumped more than 7.5% to hit a record high. The stock is now up more than 21% in the 2 days since the technology company gave an upbeat forecast, driven by demand for its AI services.
Well, welcome into a brand new week. Happy Monday as we take a look at your weather forecast for Northwest Pennsylvania. We are looking at cloudy skies today with temperatures in the low 70s. Cloudy skies tonight with lows in the low 60s. Tuesday, thunderstorms with a high in the mid 70s. Wednesday, scattered thunderstorms, a high of 80. Thursday, scattered thunderstorms, low 70s. Friday, some morning thunderstorms with temperatures in the upper 70s. Meadville this morning checking in at 64 degrees. Cambridge Springs, Edinburgh at 64. Titusville 63, Franklin 64, Oil City 63 degrees here at 7:13. This is the morning drill. You're watching it on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.
Morning sun is shining bright, Monday feels just right. Coffee brewing, kitchen light, everything's gonna be alright. Wake up with a smile today, week ahead we'll find our way. Turn the TV, hear them say, Luke and Amy make our day. On the morning drill we see week's adventures yet to be, with Luke and Amy guiding me. Monday morning feeling free.
Yeah, feeling free here on a Monday morning.
Breakfast toast with jam so sweet.
I don't know what that.
Okay.
Morning drill singers were really inspired, I guess, by that one. Good job. Welcome in. Happy Monday. Coming off a pretty busy weekend. Mm-hmm. Father's Day weekend. A lot of events over the weekend in Northwest Pennsylvania. One of the greatest events in our neck of the woods, the Thurston Classic. I know the Sunday flight was canceled due to field conditions and weather situations. Let's see, that was yesterday. I think the morning flights on Friday, morning flights for Saturday and just the flights in general. Oh, the evening flight was still on. I'm not sure if they were able to continue that or not, but yeah, that's always sort of hit or miss. I don't know. I feel bad. All that effort that goes into it.
Yeah, and they travel a long way.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel bad.
But I guess if you fly, you're just kind of used to it, right? Because the conditions have to be just right.
Well, especially here.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So on to next year. But hopefully everything went well for the things that they were able to take care of, and on to the next. Let's see. You had this is something we were kind of joking about over the weekend. So we had 3 kids that played soccer.
Yeah.
And it seemed like every Mother's Day and every Father's Day there was some sort of a soccer tournament or match that would take place. And I think for Mother's Day it was just the normal scheduled game. Father's Day weekend was always the big tournament that is hosted at Edinburgh University. Mm-hmm. And this is the first year that Mother's Day and Father's Day, we haven't had somebody playing in that tournament in, I don't know how long.
I think
a long time.
Yeah.
A long time.
10 years.
Like over 10 years?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like, wow. But some dear friends of ours, their daughter was playing in it. So we had a chance to go over Saturday night. And you know how the weather was Saturday. Saturday evening turned out to be pretty nice.
It was very nice. It wasn't cold, but it wasn't hot.
Right. It was a gorgeous evening. So we had a chance to go to Edinburgh and go to the tournament and watch, which was a lot of fun. Then we had a great dinner afterwards. Great spot that you suggested, right out on the water.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. And again, it was just a beautiful night. They had some entertainment, but that was a lot of fun. And then I think you kept pressuring me all week last week. You know, we want to do for Father's Day. Well, so I work on Sundays, and you had a chance to go see your dad with the boys. Mm-hmm. So I was like, no, go. You see me all the time. It's fine. I really
really wanted to get out and golf a little bit after watching. That's the other thing we're going to talk about, the U.S. Open at Oakmont. Oakmont, wow. Nice job. The weather, just crazy. And yesterday, congrats to JJ Spawn for winning yesterday, 1 under. Now, you knew, and they were talking all week last week, that don't be surprised if, 3, 4, 5 under would win the tournament. Like, it's a tough course.
Yeah.
Well, then you add the weather yesterday that came through, and it just, I thought somebody was going to be above par, winning that thing. Like +1, +2. You had Scotty Scheffler, who was +4, just, hanging out. John Rahm hanging out because they didn't know what was going to happen. They could have been they were kind of in the mix for a little bit.
Yeah.
But JJ Spawn had some amazing shots and a great putt to win it at 1 under. And anyways, Oakmont, congrats. Difficult course to begin with. Mm-hmm. And then you add the weather. On the Pittsburgh rain.
Yeah.
Even the commentators were like, okay, I can see the rain. Like, I can see the drops. They're huge. But the grounds crew that took care of everything, just amazing. But anyways, yeah, so a busy weekend, and here we are. Monday. I know we're going to do birthdays and what we're celebrating. We'll go through some other sports headlines. Speaking of Oakmont, Pittsburgh, so all that rain yesterday that came through in those storms, there's a live shot this morning.
Huh.
But good,
little dreary.
Hey, and good job, Pittsburgh sports fans. Man, they just show up, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Great crowds over the rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, just awesome. And our good friend who we went to see his daughter play soccer was there for a couple of rounds, or all of the rounds, I think.
Yeah.
No. First 3.
Yeah, he missed Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, he said it was outstanding. And there's some other people we know that were down there.
And he was driving back and forth to not miss the game. And, yeah, so poor guy.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, anyways, so for Father's Day, I was like, man, really like to get out and play. Didn't get a chance. Just got busy. So we're going to try to go out.
They give you a redo day, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
I want to take the boys out. We'll go out sometime. The other reason to go out was we're going to be playing in the chamber golf outing Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I was like, you want to get out and hit a little bit.
We haven't. I don't think we've hit for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting.
Weather's not looking great for that day anyways. But
we've golfed.
We'll make it fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's what matters.
We're not golfing together in this one.
Nope.
Which is probably a good thing.
Yeah. Keep your distance.
I try to, because it's embarrassing when I'm on one part of the course, you're on another, and we can hear you. Or somebody says to me, hey, that's your wife, right? Yes, it is. Yeah, she's on the complete opposite end of the course, and you can hear her.
It's just a gift.
Yeah, that's what I'd call it, a gift. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to get out, but it doesn't look like we're going to get a shot to go out and practice. The other thing that's, and again, this is coming off of just spending the winter skiing, which isn't the cheapest sport to get involved in.
No.
So we were looking at some golf clubs, Friday? You and I had a chance to get out. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't play enough. I'd like to play.
Yeah.
And we've talked about, getting into a couples league with some friends, but it's like we're almost through with the kids and their sports, and then things might open up time-wise. But I'm like, I'm not spending $500 on a driver to use it twice a year, or 3 or 4 times a year. Like, if I'm playing every week, sure, maybe, but holy smokes.
Yep.
And you were looking at some golf clubs.
I am. Here's my complaint. Why are they always pink or purple?
Yeah.
I can't handle it. It's not. I just can't do it.
Yeah, and you scare the people that are trying to come over and help.
Why?
Because they come over and they're like, "Oh, would you like to see?" No, these are purple.
Like,
well, they're looking at you like, "Well, yeah, shouldn't you like that?"
No, no.
Yeah.
And then it there's either that or kids, which are really small,
Right.
or men's, which are really big, or purple.
Well, and this isn't to insult you at all. You
No.
saw a really nice set of.
yeah.
I mean, it was a beautiful bag.
This is not to
beautiful
insult
clubs.
you. Keep going.
And the guy said, "All right, how much for these?" And the guy's like, $20-some $100.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "Would you want me to take them up to the counter?" No.
I think I laughed harder than you.
Yeah, she's not good enough to
There's
get
no way.
$2,200 golf clubs.
No way. Nope.
If you have a softball bat,
Yeah.
that's her speed.
I can do it.
She can use that. Let's see how much she plays, and
That would be so funny. If you could get custom made clubs where like the grip is like a softball.
There you go.
That would be awesome. Then I'd spend more, but not now. Nope,
Yeah.
Sorry. For my twice a year.
Your release on a baseball swing, softball swing, is what?
What do you mean?
You go to one hand
Yeah.
when you swing in softball?
Yes, personally, yes.
Okay. And you do the same with a golf club.
Yeah.
Which everybody cringes because it looks like that club's going to go flying.
It's not.
Like you should.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not going to go flying.
All right. So if the weather holds off on Wednesday, I mean, I have to at least get a shot, or somebody has to get a shot of you, just so we can show this thing.
Okay.
All right.
Are you done now?
Well, that leads to the other thing is this winter, the kids want you to ski with them.
Okay, next. I'm not.
That's a yes.
Nope, it's not at all. I can't.
You figure skated. Like it's...
Yeah.
We'll get you. We'll get
It's
you
not
there.
happening,
Yeah, we'll
but
get
go
you
ahead.
there. We're going to get into birthdays, and look at the look today. Yeah, once Father's Day ended, the smiles.
Weekend. The weekend is over.
I don't think I was. I did not use the Father's Day.
Oh, not
card.
at all. No,
Okay.
no. No, you didn't.
Okay.
You didn't. I felt bad because, like, and you did it to yourself. Like, you planned something on, and yes, I do want you to pre-plan stuff because I would like to be able to include everybody and make everything work all at once because, that would be great, but you just kind of pushed it off. So it was kind of chaotic, but you planned, you had other things going on all weekend. So it was not, a fully fun weekend.
For
you.
But it was.
Okay.
We got to see our good friends.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We did another thing too that was a slight bump, but it was
still fun.
Yes.
But it was, work on Saturday, work on Sunday, so.
Here we are. All right.
On to the next.
Birthdays. Today's the 16th day of June.
Singer Eddie Levert is 83 from the OJs. Actress Laurie Metcalf is 70. Actor John Cho is 52. Actor Eddie Sabran is 52. And actor Daniel Bruhl is 47. And
all right.
That is all.
Happy birthday to them. Happy birthday to you if today happens to be your birthday. By the way, if you go to our Morning Drill Facebook page, just search the Morning Drill on Facebook. And under the live video where we're streaming, you can add a comment right now if you want Amy to wish somebody a happy birthday or give a birthday shout out or something like that. You can add that in the comments until we figure out how we want to do birthdays.
Okay.
All right. So from birthdays to what it is we're celebrating here on a Monday.
All right. It is Arborist Appreciation Day. Bloomsday, Fresh Veggies Day, International Day of Family Remittance, International Day of the African Child, International Waterfall Day, National Fudge Day, Take Your Cat to Work Day, World Sea Turtle Day, Youth Day, Animal Rights Awareness Week, Diabetes Week, Learning Disability Week, and Universal Father's Week. That's it.
So I get a week?
Yes. Yeah.
So you have to be nice to me.
Sure. Also, on this list, it says it's Phil Mickelson's birthday.
Oh, okay.
So, there you go.
Well, happy birthday to all of them. And I don't know what.
Something to celebrate.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably the Father's Day.
There you go.
For the week.
For the week.
Giddy up.
Yep.
We have news coming up at the bottom of the hour. A lot to get to, a lot of headlines. A lot going on Wall Street. Markets, not just in the U.S., but Europe and other places. Oil prices all over. I mean, with Israel and Iran, and there's a lot. We're going to bring you a lot of information coming up in this news block. Still to come later this morning, next hour, Neil Fratus from the City of Titusville. And I believe we're going to learn about ear, nose, and throat from Doctors Peter and Michelle White from Meadville Medical Center. That's coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. So looking forward to those conversations. All right, again, coming up on 7:30 here this morning, this is the Morning Drill. You're watching it on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood channel. If you're looking at that weather forecast for today, we're looking at cloudy skies, low 70s, low 60s tonight with cloudy conditions as well.
Israel and Iran launched fresh attacks on each other overnight into Sunday, killing scores. That's as US President Donald Trump said the conflict could be ended easily, while warning Tehran not to strike any US targets. Iran says dozens have been killed in Israel's onslaught since Friday, including 60 on Saturday, half of whom were children, when a missile brought down a Tehran apartment block. More than a dozen people have been killed in Israel and hundreds injured since Iran launched its retaliatory attacks. On Sunday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited a residential area in the city of Bat Yam, hit by an overnight Iranian missile onslaught. He watched as rescue efforts searching for missing people buried under the rubble of a collapsed multi-story building continued. Netanyahu said Iran will, quote, pay a heavy price for civilian deaths. The Israeli military has warned Iranians living near weapons facilities to evacuate after both Netanyahu and Trump said Israel's attacks would intensify. Trump has lauded Israel's offensive while denying Iranian allegations that the US has taken part in it. He warned Tehran not to widen its retaliation to include US facilities or interests. In a message on Truth Social, Trump added that the US could, quote, easily get a deal done between Iran and Israel and end this bloody conflict. An Iranian government spokesperson said on Sunday that the country had been ready to hold a sixth round of nuclear talks prior to Israel's initial strikes on Friday. The country's foreign minister has previously said that Iran was acting only in self-defense. The United States has been negotiating with Iran to try and secure a commitment to severely restrict its nuclear program, which Iran says is purely civilian. But Israel sees it as an existential threat because of its weapons potential. Trump gave no details of any possible deal.
President Donald Trump's long-sought military parade rolled through the streets of downtown Washington on Saturday in celebration of the U.S. Army's 250th anniversary.
Every other country celebrates their victories. It's about time America did too.
But the event, which coincided with Trump's 79th birthday, was marred by a day of violence and discord. From New York to Chicago to Los Angeles, hundreds of thousands of Americans marched in protest of Trump's actions while in office.
I believe that Donald Trump is destroying our country.
And earlier in the day, a gunman assassinated a Democratic lawmaker and wounded another in Minnesota. The parade kicked off earlier than expected due to thunderstorms forecast in the Washington area, with tanks, armored personnel carriers, and artillery. It's an unusual sight in the U.S. where such displays of military are rare. Trump watched the proceedings from an elevated viewing stand behind bulletproof glass.
We the people! We the people!
Many of the protests against him earlier in the day took place under the theme No Kings, asserting that no individual is above the law. Actor Mark Ruffalo was at the protest in New York.
We have a king and his court and his beige henchmen, and they're trampling on our rights and our laws and our freedoms.
The demonstrations were largely peaceful and marked the largest outpouring of opposition to Trump's presidency since he returned to power in January. The situation was more tense in Los Angeles, though. Police used flashbang grenades and tear gas to push back protesters. Anti-Trump groups planned nearly 2,000 demonstrations across the country to coincide with the parade. Critics have called the parade a wasteful authoritarian display of power, especially given Trump has said he wants to slash costs throughout the federal government. Officials say the celebrations are expected to cost the U.S. Army between $25 million and $45 million.
Vehicle shopping? Make sure you check out Titusville Ford first. Shop our amazing selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in stock. Visit us on Route 8 in Titusville and see why our customer service is a cut above the rest. Titusville Ford, your hometown dealer.
Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning provides residential and light commercial air conditioning services throughout the area. They understand the importance of your cooling system working properly. That is why you can trust in Vanderhoof to do the job right. Whether it's a non-working air conditioner, yearly maintenance, or a new install, you can be assured that we will solve your problem quickly and efficiently. Your home's air conditioning system is far more than just temperature. It's a complete comfort system that combines temperature, humidity, air quality, and above all, safety. Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning in Titusville.
Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding is located at 305 East Spring Street in Titusville. Marsh Home Center welcomes you in to explore their growing inventory of name brand furniture, appliances, and bedding. Need something not currently in stock? No problem. Order from Marsh's online catalog and have it delivered right to your door. Visit Marsh's to see their entire showroom, ask questions, see what items are on sale, or just stop in and say hi. Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding, behind Giant Eagle in Titusville.
Looking for expert orthopedic care? Dr. Charlie Gates, a trusted name at Titusville Area Hospital, can help you regain mobility and a better quality of life. With years of experience and a passion for personalized care, Dr. Gates specializes in treating a wide range of orthopedic conditions. Whether it's joint pain, sports injuries, or orthopedic surgery, trust Dr. Charlie Gates at Titusville Area Hospital for your orthopedic care. Call 814-827-9770 today to schedule your appointment.
Welcome to Inspire Med Spa, the place you know and love for massages, Botox, laser resurfacing, and semi-permanent makeup. Now we're offering even more, including laser hair removal, tattoo removal, and hair rejuvenation. Our team is here to provide expert care in a peaceful, luxurious environment designed with your relaxation in mind. And with our newly added services, now you can get all your beauty services in one place. Visit Inspire Med Spa today, because you deserve to look and feel your best.
Interstate Pipe and Supply takes pride in providing superior customer service. That's why our dedicated employees are well trained and have the experience to offer friendly, quick, and reliable service and support. Need materials delivered to your job site? No problem. Interstate offers fast delivery from our 4 locations in Western Pennsylvania. We also serve Eastern Ohio, Northern Western Virginia, and Western New York. Service means business at Western Pennsylvania's premier pipe and supply company, Interstate Pipe and Supply.
Whether you want to go and lead in your craft in the trades, whether you want to go and be that nurse or medical worker and have a real impact on lives, or whether you want to go and help that business improve its bottom line, this is the place. And now is your time to go with confidence, to go with skill, to go succeed. The Education and Training Center at Pitt Titusville.
I know sometimes we get into it and it's just
hard on both of us, but try to understand me more, and I'll try to do the same. But you have excuses because you're old, so it's okay.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at sounditouttogether.org.
Kick off your summer by saving big at Community Chevrolet's Summer Kickoff Sales Event. We wanted to call it the Dog Days of Summer Sale, but that made Clark too excited.
They told me I had to go outside if I started barking.
Save more than 10 grand off MSRP on a new Silverado, like the electrifying 2025 Chevy Silverado EV. Or hit the beach in the all-new Chevy Malibu RS and save nearly 4 grand. The Dog Days of the Summer Kickoff Sales Event. This month at Community Chevy.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz said Sunday the police arrested a suspected gunman accused of killing a Democratic state lawmaker and her husband while posing as a police officer.
After a 2-day manhunt, 2 sleepless nights, law enforcement have apprehended Vance Bolter.
Top Democrat in the Minnesota House, Melissa Hortman, and her husband were shot dead at their Minnesota home the previous day in an attack Walz characterized as a politically motivated assassination.
A moment in this country where we watch violence erupt. This cannot be the norm. It cannot be the way that we deal with our political differences. Now's the time for us to recommit to the core values of this country.
Before the killings, authorities allege that Bolter also shot and wounded another Democratic lawmaker, State Senator John Hoffman, and his wife at their home a few miles away. Walz said Hoffman, hit by 9 bullets, was heading for recovery after emerging from his last surgery. Police said Bolter fled on foot when they confronted him at the Hortman home, leaving behind a vehicle that resembled a police SUV. According to a Hennepin County criminal complaint unsealed on Sunday, a police search of Bolter's SUV turned up 3 AK-47 assault rifles, a 9mm handgun, and a list of other public officials and their addresses. The complaint also showed that Bolter has been charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, as well as 2 counts of second-degree attempted murder. Online postings and public records reviewed by Reuters showed that Bolter has links to evangelical ministries and claimed to be a security expert with experience in the Gaza Strip and Africa. The killings are the latest episode of high-profile political violence in the U.S. Recent incidents include an attempted assassination on Donald Trump last year and an arson attack at Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's house in April.
Stocks fell across the board Friday after more clashes in the Middle East. with the Dow dropping about 1.8%, the S&P 500 more than 1%, and the Nasdaq declining 1.3%. Iran launched missiles at Israel in response to intensive Israeli strikes aimed at crippling Tehran's ability to build nuclear weapons. Airline stocks fell on fears that fuel costs could climb, while defense stocks such as Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman rose. Melissa Brown, managing director of investment decision research at SimCorp, says she thinks the effect of the conflict may be short-lived.
Over the long term, I've seen studies that show that that wars generally don't have a major impact on stock markets over, say a period of a few months to a few years, with some obvious exceptions. If we don't see a huge escalation, particularly outside of the borders where we're already seeing the conflict, I think that investors are going to go back to the idea that the Fed's going to lower rates, that we're not going to be in a recession, and even with somewhat higher oil prices, we managed quite well with higher oil prices for the past few years.
Other stocks on the move included Photoshop maker Adobe, which lost more than 5%. The company raised its annual revenue forecast, but that was overshadowed by concerns that the pace of its AI adoption was too slow. And shares of Oracle jumped more than 7.5% to hit a record high. The stock is now up more than 21% in the 2 days since the technology company gave an upbeat forecast, driven by demand for its AI services.
I think we have had some decent economic news. So we're not seeing a huge surge in unemployment. We're not seeing a huge surge in inflation. But I think investors, equity investors, are being a little bit short-sighted, and they're looking at that news and maybe not projecting out over the next couple of months, where we are very likely to see higher prices that are a result of tariffs. They just haven't kind of made their way through the system yet. So I think we will see higher inflation. We may not see, lower GDP growth. That still, we have yet to determine. But I think, the investors are not placing enough emphasis on the inflation environment, which is going to make its way through consumer spending. And consumer sentiment is already pretty low, pretty negative. It will make its way into, corporate earnings, lowering corporate earnings, either because they're going to have lower top line growth or because their costs are going to go up relative to their top line growth. And so I think when we look out, we're not as optimistic as the general market seems to be. Is the bottom line. I think the market is clearly reacting to the news about Israel and Iran. So it's not that surprising to see the market down, and then oil prices are up. The impact could dissipate. Over the long term, I've seen studies that show that that wars generally don't have a major impact on stock markets over, say a period of a few months to a few years, with some obvious exceptions. But in general, if it's a local conflict, it doesn't tend to have a huge impact on stocks. So I think we've got some initial shock today. And then, I think, depending on what happens, of course, if this escalates, that's a different story. But if we don't see a huge escalation, particularly outside of the borders where we're already seeing the conflict, I think that investors are going to go back to the idea that the Fed's going to lower rates, that we're not going to be in a recession, and even with somewhat higher oil prices, we managed quite well with higher oil prices for the past few years. So that in and of itself isn't necessarily going to cause problems.
As Israel's conflict with Iran escalated over the weekend, so did fears for global oil prices. Crude settled 7% higher on Friday as news of the conflict first broke. It then gained another 1.5% in early trade Monday, before easing back from initial highs. That left international benchmark Brent crude at around $75 per barrel. Over the weekend, Israeli strikes hit a major oil facility near Tehran. But for traders, the key concern is whether Iran will try to disrupt oil supplies as part of its response to the attacks. About a fifth of the world's total crude consumption passes through the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow shipping lane between Iran and Oman. Iranian media quoted one of the country's lawmakers as saying closure of the strait was being seriously considered. One analyst told Reuters that any such blockade could rapidly add $20 per barrel to oil prices. The tensions have also sparked fears of supply shortages, when only a few weeks ago the big worry was oversupply. Though major producers, including Saudi Arabia, do have the capacity to increase output if needed, traders say the market could be left with very little spare capacity. That could make oil prices vulnerable to any further escalation of the conflict or other new shock. For now, any hopes of a quick end to the fighting look forlorn, with both sides keeping up attacks. Iran has said it won't negotiate a ceasefire while the Israeli air assaults continue.
European shares opened sharply lower on Friday. Israel's attack on Iran hit global risk sentiment and sent investors flocking to safe haven assets. The pan-European stock 600 was down 1.2% in early trade, with the benchmark on track to log a fifth session in the red, setting it up for a weekly decline. Israel launched strikes against Iran on Friday, hitting nuclear facilities and ballistic missile factories. They want to stop Tehran from building an atomic weapon. Iran retaliated by launching 100 drones. The tensions add to caution in global financial markets as they grapple with the impact of Trump's tariffs policy. The heightened tensions in the oil-rich Middle East sent prices of the commodity soaring, last up over 7%. The travel and leisure sector was down over 3%. British Airways owner ICAG and Lufthansa were both down over 4.5%. Cruise operator Carnival's London listing shares slipped 5%. However, energy stocks soared, with Shell and BP both rising in early trade.
From a new conflict sending oil prices soaring to a trade war that might be cooling off, this is the week in numbers. Up to 14% was the initial jump for oil prices following news of Israel's attack on Iran. Traders are worried Tehran could respond by blocking the flow of crude through the Gulf. One estimated Iranian action could hinder the movement of up to 20 million barrels per day. 55% is now the US tariff on goods from China after 2 days of intense negotiations between the pair. Talks in London produced a deal to roll back measures including China's curbs on the export of vital rare earth minerals. And Donald Trump seemed to approve.
We made a great deal with China. We're very happy with it.
But details remained scant and tariffs were far from eliminated. Almost 5% was the fall in Boeing shares after a fatal crash involving one of its 787 jets. All but one of the 242 people on the Air India jet were killed, with more fatalities on the ground. Officials say there's no reason yet to think problems with the plane were to blame, but it all comes with Boeing still trying to repair its reputation following previous crashes. About $2.7 trillion will be the total UK government spending over the coming years. The number came in plans set out by Finance Minister Rachel Reeves.
In place of chaos, I choose stability. In place of decline, I choose investments.
But figures later in the week showed GDP shrinking fast, and ministers face mounting pressure to show turnaround plans are working. And $10 billion was the annualised revenue at OpenAI by June. After posting billions in losses last year, analysts say the numbers suggest ChatGPT and rival bots are now fast becoming big business.
From tensions escalating in the Middle East to the G7 leaders meeting in Canada, these are the stories to watch in business and finance in the coming week. Another of the major geopolitical tail risks investors have long been worried about has just become a reality with Israel and Iran. The initial reaction has been a spike in oil prices, a drop in stocks, and a safe haven rally spanning gold to government bonds. Markets will be closely following how the situation unfolds and what the world's top powers do in the coming days. The U.S. Central Bank is expected to hold rates steady on Wednesday. It will also offer projections on monetary policy and the economy for the first time since March. Tuesday's May retail sales numbers, meanwhile, could show how tariffs may be affecting consumer spending. There will also be a flurry of interest rate decisions in Europe. Central bank meetings are scheduled in Sweden, Switzerland, Norway, and the UK. The Bank of Japan kicks off its two-day policy meeting on Monday. Investors are seeking guidance on the BOJ's rate trajectory and bond tapering plans. The BOJ has vowed to keep raising rates if underlying inflation approaches its 2% target. Geopolitics, trade, and much more will be on the table when the Group of Seven summit in Alberta, Canada, kicks off on June 15th. Japan, for one, hopes for a trade agreement on the sidelines. And some suspect the EU could accept a 10% U.S. tariff with no retaliation for greater U.S. commitments to NATO and Ukraine. And host Canada, keen to diversify trade away from the U.S., has invited India's Narendra Modi to attend after bilateral relations soured in recent years.
Well, cloudy skies expected today and temperatures in the low 70s. Cloudy skies tonight with lows in the low 60s. Tuesday, thunderstorms, mid-70s. Wednesday, scattered thunderstorms, a high of 80. Thursday, scattered thunderstorms, low 70s. Friday, some morning thunderstorms with temperatures in the upper 70s. Meadville this morning at 65 degrees. Cambridge Springs, Edinburgh at 65. Titusville, 63. Franklin, 64. Oil City, 64 degrees. Lost track of the communities here this morning. It is 7:54. This is the morning drill. You're watching it on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Glad you're with us here on a Monday. And real quick, looking at some baseball scores from yesterday. Not a good weekend for the Buccos, who took on the number one Cubs in their division. Pirates fell to the Cubs in 10, 3-2. You had the Reds over the Tigers 8-4. Phillies beat the Blue Jays 11-4. Marlins over the Nationals 3-1. Rockies beat the Braves 10-1. Yankees fell to the Red Sox 2-0. Orioles with the win over the Angels 11-2. Rays batting their way past the Mets to win it 9-0. Astros with a 2-1 win in 10 over the Twins. Brewers beat the Cardinals 3-2. A's with the win over the Kansas City Royals 3-2. Rangers, Padres, Mariners, Dodgers, all winners as well. The Mariners beating the Cleveland Guardians 6-0. On tap for today, you have the Marlins and Phillies at 6:40, Nationals and Rockies tonight, Yankees and Angels, Rays and Orioles, Mariners, Red Sox, A's hosting the Astros, Dodgers hosting the Padres, Buccos with the night off. They're back in action tomorrow, 6:40, on the road, taking on the Detroit Tigers. Mentioned J.J. Spawn was your winner at the U.S. Open at Oakmont. Hockey action resumes on Tuesday at 8 o'clock with the Panthers hosting the Oilers, and the Panthers lead that series 3-2. NBA action, it's all tied up between the Thunder and the Pacers. They'll play tonight at 8:30 on ABC. As the Thunder host the Pacers, series tied up 2 games apiece. Caitlin Clark back into the mix, and boy, did she have an outstanding outing. I just want to I saw this, I should probably double check this. Oh, this is from DraftKings, so this should be okay. Caitlin Clark's distances on made threes: 26 feet, 26 feet, 27 feet, 27 feet, 31 feet, 31 feet, 33 feet.
Oh.
Okay. I say that to say this. Average is 28. The WNBA's three-point line is 22 feet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She's firing these shots 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 feet.
From the line.
Beyond the line, yeah. And making them.
Nice.
Shot after shot after shot.
Incredible. So Caitlin Clark back after that 2-week injury. So, yeah. All right. Anything else in sports? Anything you want to mention? Father's Day weekend. Looked like Thurston Classic had a successful Friday. The rest of the weekend, not so much.
Ugh. Yuck.
So there's that. Ready for a great week?
Sure. Bring it.
Any words of wisdom?
Thursday is federal holiday. Remember that.
Okay.
So your banks, post offices, federal locations will be closed on Thursday. No, I just, it's Monday. There's nothing.
Trying to get everything processed and figured out for the week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. I made coffee. That's step one.
I'll tell you, that's the big step one. Getting that done. It's really good this morning.
Thank you. Thanks.
I might even have just a little bit more if there's any left, or
Yeah.
did our guest steal it all? I see he's trying to pour some in his pockets, take some home with him.
He's tired.
Oh.
It's
college kids.
Summer vacation. Gotta go early, function.
Great local programming will continue on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Third hour, you can catch it on our website, streammedia.tv, on our YouTube channel, or The Morning Drill on Facebook. And we've got Neil Fratus, Gavin Griffin from the City of Titusville joining us. Doctors Michelle and Peter White, ear, nose, and throat doctors, Meadville Medical Center, next hour. So looking forward to all those conversations.
Yeehaw.
All right, this is The Morning Drill. You're watching it on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Happy Monday.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz said Sunday the police arrested a suspected gunman accused of killing a Democratic state lawmaker and her husband while posing as a police officer.
After a 2-day manhunt, 2 sleepless nights, law enforcement have apprehended Vance Bolter.
Top Democrat in the Minnesota House, Melissa Hortman, and her husband were shot dead at their Minnesota home the previous day in an attack Walz characterized as a politically motivated assassination.
A moment in this country where we watch violence erupt. This cannot be the norm. It cannot be the way that we deal with our political differences. Now's the time for us to recommit to the core values of this country.
Before the killings, authorities allege that Bolter also shot and wounded another Democratic lawmaker, State Senator John Hoffman, and his wife at their home a few miles away. Walz said Hoffman, hit by 9 bullets, was heading for recovery after emerging from his last surgery. Police said Bolter fled on foot when they confronted him at the Hortman home, leaving behind a vehicle that resembled a police SUV. According to a Hennepin County criminal complaint unsealed on Sunday, a police search of Bolter's SUV turned up 3 AK-47 assault rifles, a 9mm handgun, and a list of other public officials and their addresses. The complaint also showed that Bolter has been charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, as well as 2 counts of second-degree attempted murder. Online postings and public records reviewed by Reuters showed that Bolter has links to evangelical ministries and claimed to be a security expert with experience in the Gaza Strip and Africa. The killings are the latest episode of high-profile political violence in the U.S. Recent incidents include an attempted assassination on Donald Trump last year and an arson attack at Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's house in April.
Thinking about switching to 5G home internet? Think again. Unlike Zoom from Armstrong, 5G home internet is delivered by a cell tower. The further away you are, or the more devices connected to that tower, the slower your internet is. Cell phone providers also play favorites. When their network gets busy, cell phones win, and your home internet pays the price. Stick with Armstrong to get more data, more speed, and internet whenever you need it, not whenever they want. Armstrong, keeping you connected.
Are you tired of juggling multiple pill bottles? Titusville Express Pharmacy has your solution, now offering compliance packaging. Your medication sorted and sealed by dose, making it easier than ever to stay on track. In a hurry? Take advantage of our convenient drive-through service. We also offer free local delivery for those that qualify. Titusville Express Pharmacy, where convenience meets care. Visit us today at 401 West Spring Street in Titusville. Simplify your medication routine with Titusville Express Pharmacy.
Poppy's Equipment and Storage Rental in Pleasantville is committed to providing our customers with exceptional service while offering quality rental equipment. Poppy's is now an authorized steel dealer with everything you need to have for sawing and cutting or mowing to digging. And of course, Poppy's has tents, tables, chairs, heaters, generators, barbecues, and more for your next wedding or get-together. Need firewood or propane? No problem. Whether you're in construction or a weekend warrior, reach out to Poppy's about your next project. Poppy's Place on the Tenesta Road in Pleasantville. Community Connect Federal Credit Union, serving Crawford, Venango, Forest, and Warren counties. Their mission is to provide quality, low-cost, and personal financial products for the growth and security of their members and families. Stop in, call, or visit our website, communityconnectfcu.com, and click Join to get started. Community Connect Federal Credit Union, 1050 East Spring Street in Titusville.
For a unique shopping experience with great gift ideas, decor, and so much more, come check out what Titusville Market Square's nearly 100 vendors have to offer. Featuring unique items from local agribusiness, craftsmen, and vendors, we also offer products from 4 regional dairies, including a full line of Titusville dairy products. We carry a complete line of Amish wedding products, local honey, and maple syrup, as well as nostalgic Dog and Suds root beer and Fiestada pizzas. Don't forget to pick up fresh Clark's Donuts, delivered daily. Titusville Market Square, the new name in one-stop shopping.
Who can solve this equation? Ooh! Me. Anyone else? Fine. Jake from State Farm. Again.
Right. It's the personal price plan theorem. If you bundle your home and auto, that can equal an affordable price just for you.
Bundling. Just another way to save with the personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Fat Chad's Brewing is Titusville's premier dining destination, offering fine dining served with a cold beverage and great conversations. Try our new menu items, the T-bone steak, homemade meatloaf dinner, or soft shell crab tacos. Our pasta entries and sandwiches are just as popular. Try the new lobster ravioli, shrimp and scallop pasta, or our popular Asiago chicken. Don't forget about our famous burgers or fish sandwich, all served with fresh cut fries. Come in Saturday nights for Wild Game Saturdays. For good food and good times, it's Fat Chad's Brewing in Titusville.
For over 11 years, Triple M Roofing has been providing Amish quality craftsmanship and work ethic that you can rely on. Pole barns, decks, porches, siding, and almost all roofing needs, Triple M Roofing will get the job done on time without sacrificing quality or the promise to deliver within your budget. Call today for a free estimate, 814-964-0472. Waiting is what you'll do with the other guys. Getting it done is what we do. Amish owned and operated, we're Triple M Roofing.
Stocks fell across the board Friday after more clashes in the Middle East, with the Dow dropping about 1.8%, the S&P 500 more than 1%, and the Nasdaq declining 1.3%. Iran launched missiles at Israel in response to intensive Israeli strikes aimed at crippling Tehran's ability to build nuclear weapons. Airline stocks fell on fears that fuel costs could climb, while defense stocks such as Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman rose. Melissa Brown, managing director of investment decision research at SimCorp, says she thinks the effect of the conflict may be short-lived.
Over the long term, I've seen studies that show that that wars generally don't have a major impact on stock markets over, say a period of a few months to a few years, with some obvious exceptions. If we don't see a huge escalation, particularly outside of the borders where we're already seeing the conflict, I think that investors are going to go back to the idea that the Fed's going to lower rates, that we're not going to be in a recession, and even with somewhat higher oil prices, we managed quite well with higher oil prices for the past few years.
Other stocks on the move included Photoshop maker Adobe, which lost more than 5%. The company raised its annual revenue forecast, but that was overshadowed by concerns that the pace of its AI adoption was too slow. And shares of Oracle jumped more than 7.5% to hit a record high. The stock is now up more than 21% in the 2 days since the technology company gave an upbeat forecast, driven by demand for its AI services.
Gavin Griffin is Titusville City Councilman who joins us here this morning. Hi, Gavin. How are you?
Morning, Luke. Not too bad.
Oh, what's been going on with the city?
Oh, plenty. We have a council meeting coming up this Wednesday at 6 o'clock, so there will be a few things on the agenda there. We're hoping here as we move into the summer that we can keep our agendas fairly short. I think our last meeting was about 25 minutes. So, in and out, get out of stuffy City Hall and go enjoy the weather.
Well, as much as you can. It's been quite wet.
Yeah, it looks like this week we're going to be facing some thunderstorms, so we may want to be inside for that.
You can maybe touch upon some of the projects. I know there's some paving maybe down at Ed Meyer to start the week. Is that, again, weather permitting and all that?
Yeah, weather permitting, but we'll be paving the parking lot down at Ed Meyer. So for anyone who's ever been down there, has kids that participate in sports down there, you know that gravel parking lot has been full of potholes probably for as long as I've been alive. So we're very excited to get that project underway, as well as all of our street paving here in the next month.
You mentioned a meeting Wednesday, the agenda. Usually that appears on the Facebook page?
That's right. So it'll be officially set. The mayor will be meeting with Neil this morning. They'll go over everything, make sure we have all our ducks in a row, and then that will go out either this afternoon or tomorrow.
Okay, so look on the Facebook page maybe later today or tomorrow for the agenda, just to see what's going to be discussed. And it's already been really a busy start to the summer. I know we joke, back in January, February, this stuff's, ways away, but it comes fast, and you have to have things planned then so that you're ready to go now.
Absolutely. I think we started our first Oil Festival committee meetings 3 months ago, so it's one of those things that it comes up very, very quick, and you've got to get ahead of it. But this time of year is always very busy. I've had the pleasure of joining our folks from Council of the Arts for the Monday night concerts in the park. Those are always a big hit. I know they have a pretty good lineup for tonight, so we're looking forward to those going on until the end of summer.
Yeah, and for anybody who's like, well, what's the weather going to be like? There is a rain location.
That's
correct?
Right. Yes, so I believe they're still at Titusville Ironworks if it happens to be raining or whatever it is.
Which was last week, and
yeah.
I tell you what, I know it's pretty special being out in the park, but it's pretty cool to also be at Ironworks. So
yeah, we don't lose out either place.
Yeah.
So we're always very happy to be there.
There will be a concert. Just know that.
Yes.
And I think Arts Council, they'll post something on their Facebook page to let people know.
Yep, if it's moved, they'll put it out on Facebook as well as in the park. So there's usually signs directing folks that it's been moved to the right location.
I was talking to Neil last week about the Hope Crawford County project and just how successful that was. Is that something where you kind of have internal discussions? And I think that group came from Meadville, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Is there conversations that say, okay, hey, we want to do more of this type of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. And when they came into Titusville, they wanted to expand their presence throughout Crawford County, not just in the two communities in Meadville that they're already in. And they've been working very closely with Associated Charities, so Cricket has been wonderful in connecting them with residents down there and making sure that their needs are met. And then we also have a steering committee, which includes myself and Neil, Dustin from Public Safety, and Tim from Code Enforcement, and a few other folks from the city. So it's a collaborative effort on all parts to make sure that happens.
Is it one of those things where people needed to see this play out to understand what the concept was?
Absolutely. You know, I had the chance of going out and knocking doors in the neighborhood, and we were talking to folks that didn't really quite understand what was going on yet. They were supportive once they found out what it was, but you know, it's one of those things where you've just got to go out and meet people where they're at and make sure that they participate. And I think, you know, the free food certainly helped. So, magic bus, no less.
Yeah, it's slightly helpful when you can.
Well,
deliver some food, good food.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, just a lot of stuff. And that's again, and that's still not everything I think in that neighborhood, but it certainly inspired. It's like we've talked before. It's like when a neighbor fixes up their house, maybe even a new coat of paint or a new whatever it is, and you go, boy, that looks nice.
Yeah.
Okay, what can we do? Or downtown business, you know, with the facade program, update something, and you look at that and go, boy, maybe we should do something. You know, it helps inspire. So hopefully, just because this group is through, that neighborhood doesn't just stop. They can continue to say, okay, what else can we do?
Yeah, and that you know, that steering committee will continue to meet. We're going to meet once a month. And we're going to continue to work with the residents. One of the focuses for that program is community health, so not just physical health, but mental health and you know, civic health. You know, making sure that they're all engaged and working together. So that will continue, and we're looking at perhaps expanding that as long as that is successful.
Excellent. The mural project is looking fantastic.
Yes, this is something that I've been working on for, 3 years now, so we're very happy to finally have them over there. Sarah Alio is doing that with her husband. They've been working at it here for a couple of weeks, and so we anticipate...
I was going to say, where is she from?
Originally from Titusville.
Okay.
So her maiden name was Mellenbacher, and she has moved away. She taught... art in school for a while. Now she does private lessons and does some mural projects, public art projects. So we're very happy that she was able to carve out some time this summer to work on this project for us. This is also her, I want to say, 20th high school graduation anniversary reunion. So she's really excited to make this project a big focal point of that. So we're hoping to do the official unveiling at Oil Festival. So we'll have more details to come.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, and that's great that there's a local tie there. And a lot of people have been asking, like, who's the artist? And so that's fantastic. And it's looking great. Again, it's one of those things where you kind of saw it stenciled up as she's working on it. And again, just talking to people when they start to see it come to life, and they're like, oh. And this isn't to knock anybody, but we're kind of in an area where people need to sometimes see it or experience it to really understand it. So, now, how did the design? Did they come to you with the design, or did somebody else? Did you do how did all that play out?
So we had a general idea. We wanted to stick with an old-fashioned vintage postcard style so that we could incorporate as many pieces of Titusville history in those bubble letters as possible. We sent that design idea down to the middle school. Some art students there worked on it for a little while, kicked it up to the students at the high school. They worked on it a little while, then they kicked it up to Mr. Sampson. He refined it a little bit, and then he brought it to our committee. We refined it and sent it over to her, and it's it's finalized. So
I just that's got to be pretty cool to be somebody who's been involved with that process, knowing that that's going to be up there for years to come.
Absolutely,
decades.
And the thing that spurred that on was when I was junior council member. The idea to do a postcard style mural like this came from our student input committee, and so I was always thinking, how can we better incorporate our young people and our students in making sure that this is something that they're going to be proud of for years and decades to come.
Well, and the other thing too is I've noticed, like, when you go through other communities, now you're spotting some of that stuff a little bit more as well. And we were just where were we? Waterford.
Yeah,
I think there's a mural, maybe in a building, not on the main drag, right?
Across from the park.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
I drive you can
past
still
all the
see
time.
it. Yes, you can still see it, but I think sometimes you may have overlooked it, but now that you're driving past this and kind of taking note, I think you're starting to see aspects of that in other places.
Yeah, and we were very fortunate. Even just putting a fresh coat of white paint on the side of that building really made it so much brighter and made it pop. We were very fortunate that the painter who did the front of that building, the facade, had some leftover paint and was able to donate some equipment for us to do that. So
nice.
This is something that we've really, the lift has been donated, some of the paint and materials have been donated, and so it's really a community effort, yeah.
What's next in terms of a project like that? Are there other spots in town you're looking at going, okay, what...
Well, I have been looking. So back in January or February, we passed a resolution supporting America 250 PA. So that's getting ready for next year's big celebration for the 250th anniversary of the founding of our country. And Titusville has long played a very historic role in not only American history, but world history, especially with oil. And so we want to make sure that we're incorporating that into our community and celebrating it next year. So one of the things that they have a program through that commission is for Liberty Bells. They have model Liberty Bells that they have an artist design, and I just saw one from somewhere down southeast somewhere. But you can paint them or wrap them, and so I'm really interested in pursuing one of those for Titusville somewhere, but more to come on that.
All right, there you go. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And, Wall Street aside, at one point, this was like the financial center of the world. So
yeah,
crazy to think
that,
huh?
More millionaires per capita than anywhere else. So.
You spent some time in Harrisburg recently.
That's right. Last week I was there Sunday night through Tuesday night, so I had the chance to go down and meet with some of our legislators in Harrisburg. Of course, they're very busy with the budget this time of year. But I was able to have breakfast with our state rep, Lee James, and with our state senator's office. So I had a chance to talk with all of them about issues that we've been dealing with, their funding that we need for projects, and they're always very, very gracious and love to see a local face down in Harrisburg.
Yeah, it seems like they're always welcoming, which is great, right? So, and it seems like they're always eager to say, if you're ever down, we'd love to show off, our offices or our space or what we get to do every day, and if they're down there.
Yeah.
So
well, and one of the things that I have always enjoyed was we went down last year, Neil and I, and we didn't really make any plans ahead of time, and so being able to just drop by somebody's office and they let you in and make you a cup of coffee, and I will say he's not our state senator, but he's pretty good. Scott Hutchinson is known for giving world-class tours of the Capitol building. So if you're ever there, stop into his office. He's fantastic.
I always ask, not always, but occasionally ask the chamber directors how important it is to have representatives that are showing up to chamber events or involved in the community. This is part of it, isn't it, Gavin? So when something comes up, you can call, and they're not saying, okay, who are you? They know you. You've been to you visit them in Harrisburg or to their local office, but they know the face, they know the voice, and they can say, okay, yeah, here's what's going on.
Absolutely. And, while I was down there, I was walking through the rotunda, and I happened to glance over and saw Susan Williams from Venango.
She said that, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's funny the people that you'll run into down there. But, those connections are very, very important. And they say that your state elected officials are the most important when it comes to your everyday life. So even more important, I'm sad to say, than your local officials. But they're fairly close to their constituents. They live in the community. They're here from essentially Thursday through Sunday. And so having those connections is very important.
I get what you're saying, and we talk about it all the time, especially with election coverage.
Yeah.
The city council, the school boards, they're so important. People need to start looking at the borough, all this stuff. There's a lot of empty slots on those ballots, and I don't know what the reason is. I don't know if you hear anything as to why people don't want to run for those. They don't want the headache of social media. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I can certainly understand that. And this year is really interesting because I'm sure that we're going to have lots of folks running as write-ins last minute here in the fall. But I mean, getting on the ballot, you don't get a whole lot of folks in the primary. And, you know, I think part of it is that volunteerism is down generally. And this job is essentially a volunteer job. I get paid, you know, $100 a month before taxes. So,
wow,
you know, big spender over here. But it's difficult to get people to step up when they're all very preoccupied with their job and their family and their other commitments. And so it can be very difficult. I know it's difficult for me. I've got a lot going on, and so I don't envy anyone who tries to hop in, you know, feet first.
And it's never just, you know, one meeting a month or two meetings a month. It's always more than that. Can we make sure we cover Gavin's coffee costs this morning? We'll pay for it, so we're not going to charge.
Yeah. All right.
You're watching the Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Titusville City Councilman Gavin Griffin with us here this morning. So always fun to do some traveling and to visit the state capitol. Does that inspire you when you get back? Not that would, because you're eager to go with a lot of projects, a lot of really good things. What's ahead? What should we know? And what's the rest of the summer look like?
Well, the rest of the summer looks very busy, Luke. This week we're going to be discussing a Parks and Recreation Committee. So that was something that council sort of gave the go-ahead to explore at our last meeting. We have a resolution together of what that committee will entail. So we're looking forward to discussing it and hopefully putting that together here this summer. That will include not only the school district and the city, but also representatives from our sports and recreation groups, as well as parents that are interested. And they'll work on a comprehensive master plan for our park system and work together to address maintenance and development, things like that.
That's great. Certainly the parks are utilized, especially this time of year. It's awesome to see. You drive past any park and kids are out playing or events are being held. So, and I know we were talking about Ed Meyer at the beginning with some paving down there, that facility is going to be shut down for this week. And, you had comments like, what? We're looking forward to getting... So they're being utilized.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason we wanted to create this committee, is because we've put a significant amount of money into updating and developing our parks, and they get a heck of a lot of use every summer. And so we really want to make sure that we put a plan in place that will keep those growing and prosperous for decades to come.
Excellent. Well, that's going to be a lot of fun. That'll be, I would imagine, again, kind of like a lot of these other things we've been talking about, when you get the community together and that community buy-in, that's helpful in achieving the results that you're seeing with a lot of these projects.
Yeah, certainly. And, we don't often get folks coming to council meetings to give their input. So I have been a big advocate of getting out there and meeting folks where they're at to hear from them, whether it's at a concert in the park or holding a small town hall or a coffee event. Just, any way that we can get folks involved and have a vested interest in what's going on in their local government.
I don't mean to throw you under the bus. I'm not throwing you under the bus, but the people commenting. Do you ever run into somebody who has made a comment that on social media that just irritates you?
Yes.
Okay. So, do you ever? I mean, I just knowing you, I know you're not going to be this way, but I mean, do you, in a very positive way, say, "Hey, why don't you come to council and listen or have a conversation with us?"
Yeah, there have been times where someone has told me that they saw somebody post something on Facebook about what we're doing, and so my immediate reaction is get me their phone number. I'll take them out to coffee or lunch, and I do my best to try and hear them out and ignore the social media. I think too often we're easy. It's very easy to get on there and type up something and be frustrated without knowing what's going on. And so if we can turn those folks into supporters and have them help.
Would you say the majority of the time it's just lack of information, that they haven't heard the other side of it? Because Neil has said that, where he's run into somebody and said, "Hey, why don't you come in and I'll show you?" And they sit down and it's like, "Oh, okay. I only got this side." And why somebody would run with it, I don't know. But I mean, I think you get passionate about it. Let's just call it that. You get passionate about it. You hear something like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe they're doing this," and you'd like to think that the person that you heard it from, has all the facts, but probably not.
Yeah.
So, and that doesn't mean you have to agree with it. You could still come in and see everything, but I think there's better ways of just going online and blasting somebody without maybe a conversation.
Yeah, those face-to-face conversations are still the most important thing when it comes to local politics or government or community. So, yeah, I do my best to try and work with folks that have concerns and hear them out. And very often that's what makes good policy is hearing from all sides and making sure that everyone's issues and concerns are addressed.
And I'm sure you've also heard, hey, I really like this. I still don't agree with it, or I don't know how this is going to get fixed.
Mm-hmm.
But, agree to disagree type of a thing, right? There's
Yeah,
still some
which,
of that.
even if that can't happen in Washington or Harrisburg, we still manage to have it every now and then at City Hall. So,
meetings, let's talk about that.
Mhm.
They've been moved back to City Hall. They've been there for a little while now.
Yeah.
So if you were thinking, I'm going to attend, and you haven't been there in a while, they're at City Hall. They're not at Town Square.
That's right. They're in our conference room at City Hall. It's beautiful. It's been recently renovated, so we have, new flooring and rug and drapes and big table, huge table. So
Excellent.
Come and join us. Have a seat.
And you don't have to go and complain or to question. You can just sit there and see what's going on and learn more, especially if you're somebody that's trying to do more in the community and you're just trying to kind of gauge, what's going on. It's a great place. If you want to get the town gossip from the source, or it's not necessarily gossip, go to a meeting.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. We like to think of ourselves as the center of action for what happens in the community. All things one way or another lead through us, whether it's Neil bringing it in his city manager's report or something that we're voting on. We like to be that direct link to the public.
All right. Next meeting is?
This Wednesday at 6 o'clock, City Hall.
And then that's it for June, right?
Yeah, that's right. And then we'll be getting together right before the 4th of July.
Wow.
So, yeah, we'll have, cake and flags and fireworks.
All right. There's always
something like that.
There's always fireworks. No, there's not. And that's fine. All right. Gavin Griffin joining us here this morning. Good to see you.
Good to see you,
Luke. All the best with everything. And look for that agenda. It'll be posted online maybe later today, tomorrow, somewhere there, before Wednesday.
That's right.
All right. Thanks, Gav.
Thank you.
President Donald Trump's long-sought military parade rolled through the streets of downtown Washington on Saturday in celebration of the U.S. Army's 250th anniversary.
Every other country celebrates their victories. It's about time America did too.
But the event, which coincided with Trump's 79th birthday, was marred by a day of violence and discord. From New York to Chicago to Los Angeles, hundreds of thousands of Americans marched in protest of Trump's actions while in office.
I believe that Donald Trump.
And earlier in the day, a gunman assassinated a Democratic lawmaker and wounded another in Minnesota. The parade kicked off earlier than expected due to thunderstorms forecast in the Washington area, with tanks, armored personnel carriers, and artillery. It's an unusual sight in the U.S. where such displays of military are rare. Trump watched the proceedings from an elevated viewing stand behind bulletproof glass.
We the people! We the people!
Many of the protests against him earlier in the day took place under the theme No Kings, asserting that no individual is above the law. Actor Mark Ruffalo was at the protest in New York.
We have a king and his court and his beige henchmen, and they're trampling on our rights and our laws and our freedoms.
The demonstrations were largely peaceful and marked the largest outpouring of opposition to Trump's presidency since he returned to power in January. The situation was more tense in Los Angeles, though. Police used flashbang grenades and tear gas to push back protesters. Anti-Trump groups planned nearly 2,000 demonstrations across the country to coincide with the parade. Critics have called the parade a wasteful authoritarian display of power, especially given Trump has said he wants to slash costs throughout the federal government. Officials say the celebrations are expected to cost the U.S. Army between $25 million and $45 million.
The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home has been serving the needs of Titusville and surrounding communities since 1965. Mr. Garrett believed in tradition and commitment to excellence, standards that have been passed down from one generation to now a new generation, who will work to provide you with a beautiful, lasting tribute to your loved one. When you need them, they will be there for you. This has been their foundation for almost 60 years. The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home, 303 North Washington Street in Titusville.
Anyone with a kind and generous heart and a little money can be a philanthropist. You too can be a force for good in our community, and the Crawford Heritage Community Foundation is here to help you make the most of your charitable giving. We've partnered with hundreds of people like you to make our world and our community a better place. You can give through us to support scholarships or any charitable organization or purpose. Whether you're interested in establishing a permanent endowment or adding to an existing fund, we want to be a part of your plan. Contact us when you're ready to make your mark. Together, we can make your contribution go further.
If you're looking for a professional massage therapist, Tranquil Moments Massage in Titusville is here for you. Ray and Rauch graduated from Slippery Rock University with a bachelor's degree in exercise and rehabilitative sciences with an emphasis in athletic training. Tranquil Moments offers a wide range of services, from Swedish massage to deep tissue, sugar scrubs to hot towel inclusion therapy. Like them on Facebook and visit their website to learn more about all the services they offer. Tranquil Moments Massage in Titusville.
Thinking about switching to 5G home internet? Think again. Unlike Zoom from Armstrong, 5G home internet is delivered by a cell tower. The further away you are, or the more devices connected to that tower, the slower your internet is. Cell phone providers also play favorites. When their network gets busy, cell phones win, and your home internet pays the price. Stick with Armstrong to get more data, more speed, and internet whenever you need it, not whenever they want. Armstrong, keeping you connected.
J. Gill Plumbing and Heating takes pride in being the premier heating and air conditioning service provider in the area. With over 30 years of experience, our highly skilled and certified technicians will work closely with you to address your heating and air conditioning repair, installation, or maintenance needs. Our team is dedicated to making your home the ultimate place of comfort. Call today to get a free estimate. We also offer financing options and membership opportunities that provide peace of mind and cost savings. Call J. Gill Plumbing and Heating today or visit them online 24/7 at jgillplumbingheating.com.
Sheer Design is Titusville's exclusive Paul Mitchell-focused salon. This full-service salon specializes in coloring, cuts, nails, and tanning. Owner Angela Saxon has over 20 years' experience as a Paul Mitchell professional. She and her licensed staff offer all cuts and styles for men and women of all ages. Call 814-827-0010 or stop in at 116 South Kerr Street in Titusville.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Levin, and I proudly own and operate Puppy Levin. Puppy Levin is a pet care salon dedicated to caring for your furry companions. We provide certified dog grooming services along with boarding and doggy daycare. Our facility is family-owned and operated and promise personalized care for every pet that comes through our doors. If you're worried about your furry friend being lonely when you're gone, we also have on-site personnel 24/7 just for their comfort. Follow us on Facebook and call or text us at 814-758-9259 to make an appointment today.
Share the fun of train travel and relive our country's oil history as you ride the OC&T through the valley that changed the world. Learn about the past while traveling on vintage cars. See a variety of wildlife with stops at Drakewell Park, Petroleum Center, and Oil Creek State Park. Arrive early and see the vast collection of train and railroad memorabilia at Perry Street Station. After the ride, enjoy a night's stay at the Caboose Motel. For seasonal specials or for more information, visit octrr.org or call 814-676-1733.
Stocks fell across the board Friday after more clashes in the Middle East, with the Dow dropping about 1.8%, the S&P 500 more than 1%, and the Nasdaq declining 1.3%. Iran launched missiles at Israel in response to intensive Israeli strikes aimed at crippling Tehran's ability to build nuclear weapons. Airline stocks fell on fears that fuel costs could climb, while defense stocks such as Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman rose. Melissa Brown, managing director of investment decision research at SimCorp, says she thinks the effect of the conflict may be short-lived.
Over the long term, I've seen studies that show that that wars generally don't have a major impact on stock markets over, say a period of a few months to a few years, with some obvious exceptions. If we don't see a huge escalation, particularly outside of the borders where we're already seeing the conflict, I think that investors are going to go back to the idea that the Fed's going to lower rates, that we're not going to be in a recession, and even with somewhat higher oil prices, we managed quite well with higher oil prices for the past few years.
Other stocks on the move included Photoshop maker Adobe, which lost more than 5%. The company raised its annual revenue forecast, but that was overshadowed by concerns that the pace of its AI adoption was too slow. And shares of Oracle jumped more than 7.5% to hit a record high. The stock is now up more than 21% in the 2 days since 0.5% to hit a record high. The stock is now up more than 21% in the 2 days since the tariffs. Shares of Adobe dropped as much as 7% Friday on concerns over when the software company will start seeing a boost to its business from new artificial intelligence features. That overshadowed its higher annual revenue forecast, which sent shares up after it reported results late Thursday. An analyst from CFRA Research said, quote, "We see increasing concerns surrounding competitive pressures and a longer time horizon to reach notable AI monetization." The maker of Photoshop and Premiere Pro video editing software said in April that it would add AI models from OpenAI and Google to its generative AI tool. The tool, called Firefly, allows users to create and edit images and videos for commercial purposes through basic text prompts without facing copyright challenges. Analysts from RBC said in a note that, quote, "It feels like it will take more time to prove out these AI initiatives and quiet concerns of competition around Gen AI." At least 5 brokerages cut their price target on Adobe stock following the second quarter results. Shares have dropped about 12% so far in 2025.
Thank you for joining us. Today we're going to talk about ear, nose, and throat. And with us is Dr. Peter White and Dr. Michelle White. Thank you so much for joining us.
Great to be here.
Before we get started, let's learn a little bit about you. Peter, we'll start with you. Tell us about yourself.
I came to Meadville 33 years ago and have been in practice in ENT for that length of time. And it is so difficult to get ENT doctors to come to Meadville, I had to create my own.
Tell us about that experience.
Well, that started 33 years ago.
I'm 34 now.
She's 34 now. So
perfect.
So it was a very long-term recruiting plan.
And Michelle, we'll have to get your take on this here in a moment. But when you were young, is this a direction you wanted to go? You wanted to get into healthcare, or at what point did you say, this is the profession I want to go?
Oh, yes. So I was relatively fortunate in that it's something I knew from a very young age, that I wanted to be a doctor. I tell people that I saw the respect my mother had for my pediatrician, and I thought, she thinks he's something special, and maybe that's what I'd like to do when I grow up, and it worked out very well for me.
Michelle, tell us about your journey.
Yeah, so I think I also probably knew pretty early on that I wanted to work in healthcare. We obviously have a very sort of strong community healthcare program here, and I grew up in town here, and so in terms of careers, I was exposed to a lot of different healthcare careers. When I started to talk about becoming a doctor, he, wanted to be sure, are you sure that you really want to do this? It's a long road, and I really started to feel like, no, there's nothing else I'd rather do. And so went to college and then medical school. And in medical school, I didn't go in saying, oh, I'm going to be an ENT doctor. I was sort of curious about all options, but I realized it was what I was comparing every other option to, and that I liked it because you got to treat patients of all ages, you could perform surgeries and also do a lot in the office, and I liked the anatomy of the head and neck a lot. And so I think what's underlying this here is that I'm his daughter and we're very similar people, and so I think we're kind of drawn to it for similar reasons. And then I went to ENT residency, and considering job options afterwards and having the opportunity to work with my dad and be close to family seemed ideal.
That's great. Peter, if you talk about just ENT, because people hear ear, nose, throat, it encompasses quite a bit. Talk about that range of that type of patient that you see.
Yeah, great question. Because one of my concerns in medical school was that I didn't want to do the same thing over and over again. And as you've just said, there really is a fairly wide range of opportunity in ENT. And I was attracted to that because, as you point out, it's ear, nose, and throat. So we deal with complicated ear problems, we deal with complicated sinus problems, we get into allergies through our work with sinuses, and then you've got throat and neck problems. As Michelle's already alluded to, the anatomy in the neck is very interesting and intricate, and that's a big attraction. The other thing is we treat a broad range of ages as a surgical specialty. We have a lot of children, and for me that was another big attraction. I love dealing with little kids in the office, and the immediate gratification and satisfaction of the surgical procedures involved. They can't hear well, and then they can, and their throat hurts, and then you make it throat hurt for a little bit, but then it's better. And so yeah, it's a great specialty.
Michelle, for you, is that sort of the same approach? Every day is a little different.
Yeah, you do find that, but then you see a lot of commonalities, and and a lot of the same problems show up on the list of patient encounters from day to day. But yeah, you find that you're still approaching each patient, obviously, in a different way, and that one patient's ear infection isn't the same as the next patient's ear infection you'll see in the next hour or next day or something like that. And so you're constantly, with I think all fields of medicine, thinking, what's the best treatment plan for this patient in particular, and what works for some, what doesn't work for others, and stuff like that.
And that's why it's so important for somebody to schedule an appointment to come into your office, because people will look online to try to get ideas, but every patient is unique. So that whole path they're on for treatment is going to be unique to them. There's no like rubber stamp that you're putting on everybody. Does that make that, again, part of that enjoyment of what you do, that the challenge of solving the puzzle?
Yeah, I think the word is challenge. We're dealing with human beings, and we're all a little different and complicated in our own way, and talking to people and figuring out their exact problem and sorting it out for them. It's difficult to cookie cutter that, and people deserve better than to be cookie cuttered into standard forms of treatment. So yeah, that adds to the challenge and the satisfaction.
Michelle, talk about just again some of those patients that you see every day. What are some common traits that you come across?
Well, we see, in different age groups, we see children who have frequent ear infections or issues with their hearing and fluid behind their ears. And, we approach that patient with, does this patient meet criteria to get ear tubes in at this time? Are we going to keep monitoring their ears? Are we concerned that something more rare is happening, like there's actually a nerve-related hearing loss that isn't related to fluid or ear infections? Also see children with, problems with their tonsils and breathing and snoring and frequent strep throat infections. And then something you could see in any age group is, a swollen lymph node in the neck, and how you handle that in a child is different how you handle that in an adult, middle-aged, or elderly person. And then we have special equipment to examine the ears, nose, and throat that isn't available to a primary care provider, like flexible scopes to look in the nose and the throat, microscopes to look in the ears. We can clean ears in a way that can't be done other places just because of the equipment and scopes we have. So a lot of the time you find patients are here just because they need a really good ear exam, or they need someone to look at their throat and their vocal cords, which is not something that can be done in a primary care office. So we just have an ability to look at these anatomic areas with a lot more sort of precision than others can.
When somebody is thinking I should make that phone call, should they call your office first? Do they call their primary care physician? How do they get into your services?
I would say either or. It depends on the nature of things, but we have a very strong primary care base here in the Meadville area, and it's my experience that they're very good about referring on when specialty care is indicated, but patients are also very welcome to call our office and make an appointment on their own. They don't necessarily need to see their family doctors.
Sometimes a patient will wait maybe too long before they start that process. What are some things, and we can start maybe with kids and then work our way up into older patients, but what are some things that may pop up in their lives where, you know, if you're experiencing this, go and see the doctor?
For adults in particular, I think a big concern for waiting too long to seek intervention would be something like a head and neck cancer. And so if they have a swollen lymph node that persists more than, I'd say, like 2 to 4 weeks, or keeps getting bigger and doesn't go down, throat symptoms like throat pain, ear pain on one side, difficulty swallowing, change to their voice. If any of that lasts longer than a few weeks, that's certainly a very good reason to see an ENT doctor. Hearing loss in one ear that sort of happens suddenly, or even progressive decline in hearing in both ears, is a good reason to get a hearing test and see an ENT doctor. And then in children, frequent ear infections, like once there are more than 3 infections, 3 or 4 that require antibiotics, as well as a concern that there's some hearing loss or speech delay, all of those are good reasons to come in.
Q-tips. A lot of people talking about Q-tips. Use or stay away from?
Well, I tell patients from a business point of view, they're excellent because they bring a lot of business into our office. But if you look not so carefully at an ad for a Q-tip, you'll usually see some attractive model with a Q-tip, and it'll go all the way around the outside of the ear, but you'll never see the Q-tip go into the ear because it's not supposed to. And it does generate a lot of work for us. People end up damaging their ears sometimes and pushing things like wax in there that ordinarily would come out naturally. So I would say overall, leave them out of your ear.
Allergies, another big topic here in Northwest Pennsylvania. Let's get into that because a lot of people will say, I've got seasonal allergies, or the allergy season's rough, and it seems like it's not just fall or spring or summer, it's year round. Talk about just what you see in the office when it comes to allergies.
Yeah, well, certainly this is a prime time seasonally for allergies with spring. And even in the winter, patients come in because they may have dust allergies or animal dander allergies that are sort of year-round. But we always talk about, what they've tried in terms of over-the-counter medications and if anything has worked well for them. And then we talk about an ideal regimen of over-the-counter medications because we can send in, the generic version to the pharmacy, but really there's nothing they get from the pharmacy that's different than what they can get over the counter. So what's considered sort of first-line allergy management is an oral antihistamine like Claritin, Zyrtec, Allegra, or the generic equivalents, with a nasal steroid spray like Flonase, and saline's helpful in the nose during allergy season to sort of wipe out any allergen particles that are sitting on the lining of the nose. But that's sort of the most optimal treatment regimen, is an oral antihistamine with a steroid spray. And if they're finding that that isn't controlling things well, that's when we talk about, should we do allergy testing? Should we consider whether you should start allergy shots or drops, which is considered immunotherapy treatment. But patients want to be sure that, you know, they've tried the over-the-counter medications, because that is a commitment in terms of the treatment, the length of treatment, and sort of how frequently they need to come in for shots and stuff like that.
So, well, I was going to say there are lots of things that bothers people's sinuses, and allergies. The fact that we treat allergies is a natural extension of various kinds of other kinds of sinus treatments as well. For instance, we get into people who need sinus surgery, and again, allergies can become part of a broad range of treatments that we can offer people for their sinuses.
What's changed over the past 30 years in your profession?
Well, I think that our ability to use technology in the office has changed and improved over that time period. Certainly we have some improved allergy medicines, we have some improved antibiotic therapies, and by the other token, a lot of things have stayed the same. One of the beauties of this relationship is that I have more than 30 years of experience to impart on a younger person, and the younger person comes with new and updated training that helps to keep the old guy up to date. For instance, we are starting an Inspire program here because Michelle did that during her training, and that we hope will offer a new treatment for sleep apnea in the area.
And I understand there's already been phone calls, so what is Inspire?
Yes, Inspire is an alternative to CPAP for patients with moderate or severe sleep apnea. CPAP is still considered first-line gold standard therapy for sleep apnea for good reason, because it's very effective when it works well and it's non-invasive. But there are a subset of patients who don't tolerate CPAP for various reasons, or CPAP doesn't work well for them, and so this is a good therapy option for them. It is an implanted nerve stimulator device that works by moving the tongue and upper airway muscles forward to open up the upper airway during sleep. So there's a component that is moving the tongue forward while you sleep. There's also a component in the chest with sort of a pacemaker-like device that is sensing your breathing. And so with your respiratory cycle, it detects when you breathe in and moves your tongue forward to open up your upper airway, and then as you breathe out, it relaxes. And so as you sleep throughout the night, you're getting sort of cyclical movement of your tongue and upper airway to open up your upper airway when you're sleeping.
How is somebody diagnosed? Do they recognize sleep issues themselves, or are they coming into your office and saying, yeah, this is going on, and you're saying to them, I think it's sleep apnea?
Yeah, many patients by the time they get to us have had a sleep study in the past and have been diagnosed with sleep apnea, but it's funny you ask, how they recognize this, because a lot of the time it's the bed partners who are noticing that, my bed partner snores loudly. I've heard him or her pause breathing during sleep and then kind of wake up. And so honestly, a lot of the time, maybe aside from poor sleep quality, which the patient would recognize themselves, it's more so family members, bed partners who are noticing the symptoms of it.
And what's the feedback you've been getting? Because I'm sure once somebody's getting a good night's sleep, it's a major difference in their life.
Yeah, we really haven't quite gotten to the point where the patients we've implanted are sort of giving us that feedback yet, just because it is a long process and we're just getting started. But from my experience in residency, many of them are very grateful because there are certainly a lot of health consequences of untreated sleep apnea. And aside from that, they are feeling like they're getting more refreshed quality of sleep. And sometimes it can be drastic, patients who are worried they're going to fall asleep at the road because they're so chronically tired and stuff like that. So it can be a major improvement in their quality of life.
If somebody understands that they have some sleep issues, they know they have sleep apnea, they can contact your office?
Yes, they can contact our office, and they can also talk to the provider who's been managing their sleep apnea. A good place to start if you don't know if you have sleep apnea is to talk to your primary care provider. They'd probably ask you some questions and consider whether you should have a sleep study.
Summer's coming up. A lot of families are planning vacations or getting out, even just mowing grass. If they're having allergy problems, that's another opportunity to contact their primary care physician or your office?
Absolutely. Yes, most allergy treatments are available over the counter, and so the simple way for them to start is to go to the pharmacy and get an antihistamine. And if their symptoms are easily well controlled with an over-the-counter medication, they probably don't need their family doctor or us. But we tend to see patients who have already gone to the pharmacy, and there's a broad range of different allergy therapies to try, and they just aren't working well enough, and then we're very happy to see those people and see what else we can do for them to give them a better quality of life.
Family is very important to you. What do you do at the end of the day to relax and wind? Peter, we'll start with you.
Well, the best thing we do is spend time together. And so, sorry, I couldn't talk about this without getting emotional. Yeah, the best thing we do is spend time together, and Michelle has 2 young children, and they are the joy of our life. But aside from that, we travel. I'm a bike rider, and we enjoy a pretty busy life.
Yeah, I will say those 2 young children take up all of my free time at the end of the day. And so after they go to bed, I like to, read or watch TV shows, but also I usually go to bed pretty early and get the day started early as well.
I'll ask, what's it like to work with Dad?
Oh, it's the best. It's great. Yeah, we are very much in sync and just obviously know each other so well that we work well together. And I notice, he's part-time now, so he's not always here, but when he is here, I take every opportunity to say, what would you do in this situation? And just get reassurance that, he would be doing the same thing that I'm doing, because why not use that resource when you have it?
Office locations here in Meadville and in Grove City?
We have an office here in Meadville that I've had for a long time. Recently, our office in Grove City was changed to Mercer, and so we are in Mercer 2 days a week.
Okay. And again, you can find out more by going to the website. Dr. Peter White, Dr. Michelle White, thank you so much for your time. It was a real pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for being with us as well.